Chosen one, when the world turns its back on you, heaven turns its face toward you. When voices grow silent around you, that's when the voice of God grows loudest. You see, abandonment isn't the end, it's the holy signal that something divine is being rearranged. The fall before the rise. There was Thomas Edison, mocked, expelled from school, and told he was too slow to learn. Even his first few inventions failed miserably, leaving him bankrupt and ridiculed. But he didn't stop. In that lonely workshop, surrounded by darkness and disbelief, he found something deeper than light itself: faith. Every failure became a whisper from God: keep going. I'm shaping you for something beyond their reach. The same happens to you, chosen one. The betrayal, the silence, the rejection, they are not proof that God has left you. They are proof that He's removing those who can't go where you're going. Because when everyone walks away, heaven steps in. And when heaven moves, no man can stand in the way. The crushing that creates power. You feel it now, the weight of loss, the sting of forgotten promises, the ache of unanswered prayers. You wonder, why does it always end like this? But listen closely. Every great soul is first crushed before it's crowned. Oil doesn't flow until the olive is pressed. Diamonds don't shine until they're cut. That pain you carry isn't punishment, it's preparation. The energy of your heartbreak is being transmuted into holy fire. God is allowing the breaking so your spirit can expand beyond the limits of human dependence. Because when people forsake you, it's not rejection, it's redirection. He's cutting cords so you can soar without weight, the silence that speaks the loudest. There's a strange peace that comes when everyone leaves. At first, it feels like suffocation. Then, suddenly, it turns into sacred space. You begin to hear what you couldn't hear when you were surrounded by noise. The quiet guidance of God. It's in that silence that clarity is born. It's in that stillness that strength awakens. You start to see who you truly are, not through their opinions, but through divine truth. The silence that once terrified you becomes the soil where your purpose grows root. So don't fear being alone. It's not isolation. It's initiation. God isolates before He elevates. The return of the forgotten. Think about Joseph, thrown into a pit by his brothers, forgotten in a dungeon, mocked by those he trusted. But the same people who abandoned him later bowed before him. That's divine reversal, when the forsaken becomes the favored. You too are entering that reversal. The very ones who overlooked you will soon wonder how you rose so high. This isn't karma, it's kingdom order. God's justice doesn't shout, it manifests. Quietly, suddenly, perfectly. You don't have to prove anything, your peace will preach louder than their pride. Because when God moves on your behalf, He doesn't just lift you, He rearranges every table they tried to keep you from sitting at. The fire that doesn't consume you. You've walked through betrayal that burned, disappointment that seared, and loneliness that cut deep. But somehow you're still here, unbroken, unbitter, unbowed. That's not luck, that's grace. Every flame that tried to destroy you became fuel for your transformation. The chosen don't just survive the fire, they become it. That's why people can't understand how you still glow after being left in ashes. They didn't see the angels in the furnace with you. They didn't hear the whisper that said, "This will not end you, it will anoint you." God didn't abandon you in the fire. He refined you through it. The tables are turning. There comes a moment when divine timing interrupts human plans. When the ones who once mocked your pain suddenly fall silent, because they see what God is doing in you. They can't explain it, but they can't deny it either. You were once the conversation of gossip, now you're the evidence of grace. Every no they gave you has turned into God's now. This is the mystery of divine justice. He does not retaliate, He reveals. You won't need to fight for your name. God is already writing it in rooms you haven't entered yet. The same voices that said, "You'll never make it," will soon say, "Only God could have done that." Chosen one, when God moves on your behalf, He doesn't just restore, He multiplies. The blessing in disguise. Do you remember how a seed looks before it blooms? Buried, forgotten, hidden under dirt. But that's exactly where growth happens, beneath the surface, unseen by all. That's where you are right now. Buried doesn't mean broken. Hidden doesn't mean hopeless. It means God is protecting what He's perfecting. Because not everyone deserves front-row access to your becoming. You think you've been delayed, but you've actually been preserved. The same soil that looked like your burial ground is becoming your birthing ground. Soon, what was unseen will be undeniable. Your obscurity is your shield, your invisibility, your incubation. You are being rooted so deeply that when you rise, no storm can uproot you. The divine exchange. Every tear you've shed has not gone unnoticed. Heaven collects what earth discards. You think you've lost too much, time, trust, relationships, but in truth, you're gaining what truly lasts. For every human hand that let go, a divine hand picked you up. For every door that closed, a gate in heaven opened. This is the law of divine exchange. Nothing surrendered in faith ever returns empty. Your heartbreak will return as healing. Your pain will return as power. Your loss will return as legacy. You're not being punished, you're being positioned. And one day, you'll look back and say, "Now I see why it had to happen." The power of still standing. You've been through storms that would have destroyed most people. You've faced nights so dark you forgot what light looked like. Yet here you are, still breathing, still believing, becoming. That's divine endurance. That's evidence of an unseen hand holding you up when everything else fell apart. God doesn't always remove the storm. Sometimes He strengthens the sailor. He didn't calm every wave, He calmed you. And that inner calm is your victory. You are not surviving by chance. You are sustained by purpose. Even the scars you carry now are sacred. They're proof that you've walked through fire and refused to be consumed. Chosen one, standing is your testimony, the promise beyond the pain. Every forsaking has a purpose. Every ending hides a promise. What feels like loss today will soon be revealed as divine redirection. There is no wasted suffering in the hands of God. He's been scripting your story behind the scenes, not to break you, but to bless you. Sometimes the delay is His mercy in disguise, keeping you from what would have destroyed you too soon. You are not behind, you are being aligned. So keep your heart open, even when it hurts. Keep walking, even when you can't see the road ahead. Because God is already moving pieces in your favor, in rooms, hearts, and timelines you know nothing about. And when it all comes together, it will make sense. What was meant to end will announce you. The separation that saves you. Not every person who leaves your life is a loss. Some are divine removals. You begged certain people to stay, not realizing their presence was delaying your peace. But when God wants to protect your calling, He will allow separation to save your destiny. You see, chosen one, peace is often disguised as distance. The arguments, the tension, the sudden disconnect, they weren't accidents, they were answers. You prayed for strength, and God gave it by taking away what was secretly draining you. And though the silence of their absence hurt, the sound of your healing has been louder. Now you can finally hear your own heartbeat again, strong, steady, aligned with heaven's rhythm. You didn't lose them, you gained yourself. The wilderness before the promise. Every chosen soul must walk through a wilderness. Even Jesus did. The wilderness isn't punishment, it's preparation. It's the place where distractions die and divine clarity is born. You can't skip it because it strips away everything false. False comfort, false friends, false confidence. It's where you face your fears and find your faith. It's where God becomes your only source. Not applause, not approval, just Him. And when you finally stop fighting the silence, you discover that heaven has been speaking the entire time. So don't curse your wilderness. Bless it, because it's the bridge between who you were and who you're becoming. You're not lost, you're being led. The hidden hand of providence. There were moments you thought everything was falling apart. Plans crumbled, relationships collapsed, doors slammed shut. But what you couldn't see then was the invisible hand of providence guiding every shift. Sometimes God hides His blessings in chaos. Sometimes His no is just a louder version of not yet. You think life detoured you, but heaven rerouted you, and every seeming mistake became a miracle in disguise. That accident, that delay, that betrayal, each one redirected you to something better, stronger, and sacred. The enemy thought he was dismantling you, but he was actually helping assemble your destiny. You weren't abandoned, you were being reassigned. the battle that built you. Think back to every sleepless night, every tear that felt endless, every disappointment that nearly broke you. Now realize, those were the exact fires that forged your strength. You didn't come this far by accident. You came this far because you refused to quit. The warfare around you wasn't meant to destroy you, it was meant to reveal you. God knew your potential scared hell. That's why the attacks were personal. You were never weak, you were being trained. Each battle refined your faith, sharpened your discernment, and deepened your compassion. You became dangerous, not to people, but to darkness itself. And that's why you're still standing when others folded. Your survival is not ordinary, it's prophetic, the rise of the redeemed. Now, chosen one, the shift has begun. The same season that broke you is about to bless you. You've been through the tearing, now comes the turning. Every scar is now a seal, proof of divine ownership, proof that you were carried, not forgotten. Redemption doesn't erase the past, it redefines it. The pain didn't disqualify you, it certified you. You are no longer walking wounded, you are walking witness. God is restoring what was taken, but not the same way, greater, deeper, higher. The story that once made you weep will now make you worship, because what's coming isn't just recovery, it's resurrection. The delay that protected you, you thought it was denial, but it was divine delay. That job that didn't come through, that relationship that suddenly ended, that door that stayed shut, all of it was God's way of saying, "Not yet, my child." You're not ready for the weight of that blessing. Sometimes the greatest mercy is withheld timing, because if you had received what you wanted too soon, it would have crushed what you were still becoming. Delay doesn't mean defeat, it means development. It's heaven's way of strengthening your foundation before revealing your fulfillment. The universe wasn't ignoring your prayers, it was aligning your path. You were never behind schedule, you were being protected from premature arrival. Chosen one, when it finally happens, it won't be late, it will be right on time. The pain that opened your eyes, pain has a way of teaching what comfort never could. It strips away illusions, it exposes motives, it reveals what's real. The heartbreak that broke you also healed your vision. Now you see people, patterns, and purpose with clarity you never had before. Pain purified your perception. You no longer chase validation because you've learned that true peace doesn't need permission. It's strange, isn't it? The very wound that weakened you also woke you up. That's divine irony. How God uses darkness to help you recognize His light. You didn't just survive your suffering, you grew wiser through it. And now, nothing and no one can blind you again. Pain didn't just change you, it awakened you. The season of silent miracles. You're in a strange in-between now, not broken, but not yet blooming. It feels quiet, uneventful, slow. But don't mistake silence for absence. Heaven works best in whispers. Right now, things are shifting under the surface. Conversations are being had about you in rooms you've never entered. Connections are forming, opportunities are aligning, hearts are softening, all because you stayed faithful when no one was watching. God doesn't announce every miracle with thunder. Some arrive disguised as ordinary days. So don't give up just because you can't see it yet. While you're wondering if He's forgotten, He's preparing something that fits you perfectly. You'll look back and realize the silence was sacred. Because in the stillness, God was speaking your breakthrough into existence. The vindication of the misunderstood. They spoke against you. They twisted your words. They judged your silence as weakness. But God saw the truth you couldn't defend. He watched your restraint, your tears, your quiet endurance, and He took note. You didn't fight back because your spirit knew this. When heaven holds your case, you don't need to argue. Vindication is coming, not through revenge, but through revelation. Those who doubted your heart will witness your harvest. You won't have to prove your innocence. Your fruit will do the talking. God doesn't expose your enemies. He elevates you in their sight. And that's the loudest justice of all. Chosen one, your peace will become your proof. The birth of divine confidence. You used to question everything, your worth, your path, your strength. But those days are ending. Through every storm, God was building something unshakable inside you, a confidence not rooted in applause, but in awareness. You no longer walk searching for approval, you walk knowing who sent you. That's the mark of the chosen, quiet authority, holy assurance. Even when life feels uncertain, your spirit stands anchored. You've realized you don't need to chase what's divinely assigned to you. You are no longer begging for belonging, you are carrying divine backing. That's not arrogance, it's alignment. God has taught you who you are by showing you who you are not. Now you move differently, with faith instead of fear, and with destiny instead of doubt. The breaking that became your becoming. It wasn't the blessing that changed you, it was the breaking. The moments when you had nothing left, when your soul felt empty, when your prayers turned into tears, that's where your real transformation began. God didn't crush you to destroy you, He crushed you to create you. Like clay in the potter's hands, you were being reshaped for a higher purpose. Every piece that fell apart made room for the divine to step in. The breaking stripped you of dependence on people, positions, and plans. And what emerged was something rare: authenticity, power, faith that cannot be shaken. Now you move with quiet strength, because you've learned that survival is sacred. The same pain that tried to end you has now become the reason you rise. The return after the ruin. After every collapse, there is a comeback. After every loss, there is a resurrection waiting in disguise. Think of Job, stripped of everything, mocked by friends, left in ashes, yet God restored him double. That's what happens when heaven writes your story. Ruin is never the final chapter. You may have been through seasons that felt like death, dreams buried, trust broken, hope fading, but even now, resurrection power is moving on your behalf. You are stepping into the divine law of restoration, the return of what was stolen, multiplied and sanctified. This is your after season, after pain, after silence, after loss. And what's coming next won't just replace what was lost, it will redeem it, because God never lets His chosen end in ashes. The shifting of spiritual seasons. You've noticed it, the strange stirring inside, the unease with what once felt familiar. That's not confusion, it's confirmation. You are transitioning from one spiritual season to another. Old circles no longer fit, old dreams no longer stir you. That's because your spirit has outgrown what your environment still reflects. When the eagle matures, it leaves the nest, not out of rebellion, but readiness. The same is happening with you. This shift may feel uncomfortable, but it's sacred. The universe is reordering everything to match your new vibration. And while others may not understand why you've changed, heaven celebrates it, because spiritual elevation always requires emotional evacuation. You are not losing stability, you're gaining altitude. The blessing nobody saw coming. There's always a moment, quiet, unexpected, when the tables turn. No announcement, no warning, just sudden favor. The same people who pitted you will be puzzled by your peace. The same ones who left you will have to watch God lift you. This is divine irony, the way heaven writes comebacks in silence. You won't have to explain how it happened. The evidence will speak for itself, because when God blesses you, He does it in ways that make human logic tremble. You waited, you endured, you trusted, and now grace is catching up to you. Your harvest will not come with noise, it will come with recognition. Those who saw your fall will witness your rise. The mantle of the chosen. This is where everything starts to make sense. Every battle, every betrayal, every lonely night, it wasn't random. It was training. You were being prepared for a higher assignment, one that requires the weight of wisdom only suffering can teach. You've been anointed through adversity. Your heart has been refined, your faith recalibrated, your vision restored. The mantle that rests on you now is not light. It carries authority, grace, and divine backing. That's why the warfare was so heavy. The calling is greater than you imagined. You are stepping into a season where what once hurt you will now help others heal. This is not just survival, it's succession. The torch is in your hands now, chosen one. Carry it with holy fire. The power hidden in patience. Patience, that silent, invisible force that feels like waiting, but is actually working. You've been in that place where nothing moves, where doors don't open, where prayers echo in still air. But what you didn't realize is that while you waited, heaven was building. Patience wasn't a pause, it was preparation. It stretched your spirit, sharpened your discernment, and stripped away desperation. Because God doesn't bless panic, He blesses peace. And now that you've learned how to wait without wavering, you've become unstoppable. The chosen aren't hurried, they're held. You no longer chase what's divine because you've learned it always arrives on time. Your stillness has become your weapon. Your patience has become your proof that you trust the plan more than the pressure. The anointing of the overcomer. You've endured what would have broken others, and that's not a coincidence, that's calling. Every trial you survived was an impartation of strength. You didn't just come through fire, you absorbed its power. Now there's an oil on your life that only suffering could produce, a fragrance of resilience, grace, and divine authority. You walk differently because you know what you've walked through. You speak differently because your voice carries the weight of testimony. This is why people feel peace in your presence. They can sense the anointing of endurance. You were not chosen because you were perfect. You were chosen because you were purified. The pain wasn't random, it was refinery. And now, you stand as living proof that what tried to destroy you has only anointed you. The divine rearrangement. Everything that was left had to. Everything that stayed was meant to. There's a divine rearrangement taking place in your life right now. People shifting, paths changing, doors closing. It may feel chaotic, but it's choreography. Heaven is reordering your environment to match your elevation. Don't resist the movement, trust it. Sometimes God has to disrupt your comfort to deliver your calling. He's removing distractions, dismantling illusions, and drawing clear lines between who's for you and who's against your destiny. What looks like a loss is actually a layout. You are being positioned with precision for a divine purpose. The confusion will make sense soon, because what feels like dismantling is actually design. You are not falling apart, your life is falling into place. The season of sudden clarity. Then, it happens, a shift, quiet but powerful. Suddenly, what once felt confusing becomes clear. The weight you carried feels lighter, the questions fade, and the peace that passes understanding settles deep in your spirit. This is divine clarity, not intellectual, but spiritual. God doesn't explain in detail, He reveals with peace. You start to see that the delay had direction, that the betrayal built boundaries, that the loss led to liberation. Everything that once hurt now holds meaning. And as clarity dawns, gratitude follows, because now you realize, nothing was wasted. Every detour, every heartbreak, every silent night, it all became the map that led you here. Clarity is not the end of confusion. It's the revelation that it was never chaos, it was choreography. The glory after the groaning. You've groaned in the spirit, cried out in silence, wrestled with questions heaven didn't immediately answer. But that groaning was never wasted. It summoned glory. Every tear you sowed in secret became the seed of something sacred. The glory coming will outweigh the grief that came before it. You've been walking through valleys with faith that felt faint, but now the light is breaking. This is your afterglow season, when the pain turns prophetic and your wounds start to shine. God is revealing what the suffering was preparing. The tables are not just turning, they're transforming. And when His glory rests on you, every former rejection will make sense. You'll stand radiant, not because you never fell, but because every fall led you straight into His arms. The armor of spiritual maturity. You no longer react the way you used to. You've stopped explaining yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. You've learned to stay silent when provoked, to pray instead of panic, to trust instead of talk. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. It's the armor of spiritual maturity. Every battle taught you restraint. Every betrayal taught you discernment. Every delay taught you depth. You're no longer led by emotion, you're led by discernment. That calm that confuses people, it's divine confidence. The enemy can't play games with someone who no longer reacts to everything. You've become untouchable, not because life got easier, but because your spirit got stronger. You've mastered the art of resting while rising. This is what it looks like when the chosen mature, peace becomes their power. The blessing of divine reversal. Have you noticed how the story always turns right when it seems it's over? That's divine reversal. It's when the odds collapse, yet grace still finds you. It's when the tables turn, not by logic, but by heaven's law. The same ground that bore your tears will now bear your fruit. The same mouth that cursed your name will have to speak of your growth. You don't have to fight for justice. Reversal is God's specialty. He doesn't need to prove you right, he just needs to reveal what's been hidden. And when he does, it won't be partial, it will be perfect, because divine justice doesn't rush, it arrives exactly when it must, restoring not only what you lost, but what was withheld. Chosen one, get ready. The story is shifting in your favor. The unseen intercession. There were days when you couldn't pray, when words wouldn't come, and all you had were sighs. But even then, heaven heard you, because the Spirit intercedes in groans too deep for language. When you were weak, divine energy stood in your place. You thought you were surviving on your own, but angels were working overtime for you. Every unseen rescue, every near miss, every last-minute miracle, they were not luck, they were love. You were never unprotected, even when you felt unseen. Your name has been spoken in heaven more times than you can imagine. That's why you're still here, not because of your strength, but because of divine intercession. The chosen are covered even when they crumble. You were carried through battles you didn't even know you were in. The transformation through trust. Trust, the hardest lesson of them all. To believe when everything looks broken, to rest when nothing feels secure. But that's exactly where your faith found its wings. You learned that trust is not passive, it's powerful. It's the refusal to surrender to fear. When you trusted God in the dark, you proved your loyalty to light. Now your faith is no longer conditional. You no longer say, "I'll trust if it works out." You say, "I'll trust even if it doesn't." That's the posture that moves mountains. Trust transformed you from a survivor into a vessel. You've stopped trying to control outcomes and started surrendering to alignment. And that surrender, that's your real freedom. You don't need all the answers, because you've met the answer himself. The prophetic unfolding. Everything you've endured, every delay, every detour, it's been leading here. This moment, this realization, this awakening, you're stepping into prophecy fulfilled. Not the prediction of a man, but the promise of God. He said he'd make a way, and he's doing it. He said he'd vindicate you, and he's preparing it. You can feel it now, the energy shifting, the air thick with divine movement. You are no longer walking toward your destiny. Your destiny is now walking toward you. The alignment is undeniable. Every thread that seemed random has been woven into divine order. You are living proof that God keeps His word, even when time tries to test it. Chosen one, prophecy isn't coming, it's manifesting. The light after the lifting. There comes a point when the weight you carried suddenly lifts. Not because the situation changed, but because you did. You wake up one morning and realize the heaviness is gone. The same thoughts that used to crush you no longer hold power. That's the mark of deliverance. Quiet, subtle, yet unmistakable. God doesn't always shout freedom. Sometimes He whispers it through peace. You've outgrown the pain that once defined you. The spiritual gravity that kept you down has lost its pull. This is what it feels like to be released from invisible chains, not through effort, but through evolution. Heaven didn't remove the burden. It raised your vibration beyond its reach. You are lighter now, not empty, but elevated. The return of divine order. Chaos had its moment, confusion had its turn, but now, divine order is returning. The scattered pieces are finding their places. Your thoughts are aligning, your path is clearing, your purpose is crystallizing. This is not a random restoration, it's a sacred structure. God is putting back what was broken, but He's rearranging it to fit the new you. Old habits won't fit this next season. Old fears won't follow. Everything now must serve your assignment. You're entering a time of precise alignment, emotionally, spiritually, and even physically. It will feel like peace disguised as productivity. Heaven is organizing what hell tried to scatter. You're not rebuilding your old life, you're birthing your real one. The harvest of hidden faith. Faith is not proven in blessings, it's proven in barrenness. And you, chosen one, kept believing when nothing bloomed. That's why this harvest will be heavy. You didn't give up in the dark, so you're about to receive in the dawn. This is not a reward, it's a return on investment. Every seed of hope you buried in tears is breaking through the soil now. It may not look the same, but it will satisfy the same hunger. God remembers silent faith. He honors persistence when no one's watching. And the season that once starved you is now feeding you. Because when heaven measures faith, it doesn't count words, it counts endurance. Your endurance has earned its evidence, the revelation of why. You've asked that word 1,000 times. Why? Why did they leave? Why did it fall apart? Why did I have to lose so much to find peace? And finally, the answer comes, not in explanation, but in revelation. You realize that the pain was the doorway to purpose. If it hadn't broken you, it couldn't have built you. If it hadn't wounded you, it couldn't have awakened you. The why you once feared becomes the wisdom you now live by. God never wasted a single tear. Everyone was a teacher. And the moment you stop resenting what hurt you, you start reclaiming its meaning. That's the turning point, when bitterness dies and understanding is born. Now you don't just thank God for what you gained, you thank Him for what He took. The glory of becoming whole. You've spent so long healing pieces that you forgot wholeness was possible. But now everything is coming together, your faith, your peace, your strength, your sense of self. You are no longer chasing completion, you are completion. This is the quiet miracle of wholeness, not perfection, but integration. You've gathered every broken fragment and handed it to heaven. And somehow, in that surrender, you became more radiant than before. Wholeness doesn't mean you never hurt again, it means pain no longer defines your identity. You walk lighter, love deeper, and forgive faster. This is the divine full circle. The forsaken has become fulfilled. You've gone from broken to built, from wounded to whole, and through it all, God never left your side. The reversal of shame. Shame is a shadow that whispers you're not enough, but heaven is speaking louder now. For years, you carried the memory of what went wrong, the guilt of what you couldn't fix, and the burden of how others saw you. But today, the spiritual tables turn. God is rewriting the narrative of your name. Where they mocked you, they will marvel. Where they doubted you, they will witness redemption. The energy of humiliation is transforming into honor. Every moment that once made you bow your head is now crowning you with divine dignity. This is the reversal, where shame becomes your testimony, and pain becomes your proof that grace never leaves empty-handed. The season of sudden shift. Nothing seems stable, and that's exactly how destiny moves. You feel the ground trembling beneath your old plans, the relationships shifting, the atmosphere around you rearranging. Don't panic. This is not destruction, it's divine disruption. God is moving you quickly because the window of alignment is short. What took others years will take you months. What was delayed is being accelerated. Sudden opportunities, unexpected calls, random blessings, they're not random at all. They're confirmation that your obedience has reached its harvest point. When everything changes at once, it's because heaven decided it's time. So don't resist the speed of this season. Ride it. It's not chaos, it's choreography, the weight of new glory. Elevation always comes with a hidden heaviness. You prayed for a greater purpose, but purpose comes dressed as responsibility. You're being entrusted with influence, not comfort. And that's how God refines chosen ones, by giving them blessings that require backbone. The new level will test your humility, your focus, and your patience. People will praise you for what they see, but they'll never know what you carry. That's the paradox of glory. It glows on the outside but grinds on the inside. But take heart, you've already proven your endurance. This time, you're not climbing from emptiness, you're climbing from overflow. The same weight that once crushed you is now strengthening your spirit to hold more light. Chosen one, this is where the story turns from survival to significance. Everything that broke you was never meant to bury you, it was meant to birth you. You were not forsaken, you were fortified. Every tear trains your discernment. Every rejection refined your purpose. The isolation you hated became the incubator of your anointing. Now look at you. You're not the same voice that cried for help. You're the one others now look to for hope. You carry the sound of someone who has wrestled with God and won understanding. And that's what makes you dangerous to darkness. Not your power, but your purity. Because when you've been stripped of everything false, only truth remains, and truth, in God's hands, cannot be silenced. You've entered the season where heaven partners with your every step. Doors won't just open, they'll recognize you. Favor won't have to be chased, it will find you. This is your divine recompense. The moment where the forsaken becomes the favored, where what left you is replaced by what was meant for you. You don't have to fight for attention anymore. You carry the attention of heaven itself. So rise, not as the wounded, but as the witness. Walk into the world knowing your scars are sacred, living proof that God still moves on behalf of those who trust Him when everything else falls away. You are not behind. You are precisely on the divine schedule. Every delay was divine timing disguised. Every closed door was protection dressed as rejection. Now is the hour where the story flips, and the same mouths that said, "You're finished," will whisper, "God truly was with them." And before you leave this message, hear me clearly. If this word reached you, it wasn't a coincidence. It was confirmation. You are part of a movement of chosen souls awakening across the earth. People walking out of pain and into purpose, carrying the sound of heaven in human form. So join this mission, not just by watching, but by standing with it. Like this message if your spirit felt it. Comment below, declare your agreement, and let your voice become part of this awakening. And if your heart knows this is home, subscribe, not for a channel, but for a calling. Because this isn't just content, this is a covenant, and your story, chosen one, is proof that when everyone forsakes you, God moves on your behalf. Amen.